gold has hit, at least nominally, all-time high after all-time high. Silver is still well below its previous all-time high. And that's not even adjusting for inflation. That's
Yeah.
just a nominal all-time high. So markets are not always rational. I do not believe in the efficient market hypothesis. It's precisely because markets are so often irrational, they get overbought or oversold. And it's pretty exciting to see something like this silver breakout. It's an energy metal, it's part of the green agenda, it's a monetary metal, it's an inflation hedge, it's all this stuff going for it. Its industrial and monetary aspects could actually propel silver much higher than supply and demand would suggest. And that could happen right away, or it might happen later this year. I don't know.
Silver prices have been soaring higher over the past couple of weeks, up to more than 20%, shooting from $26 to $32 per ounce. But a monster rally in silver may just be getting started. As the CEO of IndependentSpeculator.com, Lobo Tiggre brings a wealth of expertise to the precious metals market. According to Tiggre, the recent spike in silver to $30 may only hold with strong technical or fundamental support. Despite short-term nervousness due to recent price volatility, he remains optimistic about silver's long-term potential. Tiggre emphasizes that silver is still below its historical highs and could see substantial gains due to its dual role as an industrial and monetary metal. This unique position could drive silver prices higher by the end of 2024. As the demand for renewable energy sources continues to rise, the demand for silver is expected to keep growing, pushing its prices higher. Silver has a strong track record of outperforming gold in bull markets. Since 1967, silver has outperformed gold in 6 out of 7 major bull markets, as per the report. In his recent analysis, Tiggre points out that silver has often been more closely tied to copper prices than gold. This pattern has recently shifted, prompting him to consider silver a more attractive investment this year. A recently published article by Market Trends Report highlights the many factors that impact the price of silver. These include gold and copper prices, exchange rates, interest rates, inflation, and stock prices, not to mention overall economic conditions. There is no magic formula or combination of factors that consistently and accurately explains the level of or change in the silver price. While the silver price is not a random walk, neither is its future path entirely predictable based on past trends. Furthermore, Lobo Tiggre also warns of the political risks of silver projects, especially in countries with unstable governance. Now we present the clips of Lobo Tiggre's insights from his recent interview with Triangle Investor. Before we continue to delve into this discussion, please subscribe to our channel and activate the bell icon for timely updates.
People are going to love me and hate me for saying this. I'm of two minds on silver. Darth Silver
That's
comes
silver.
back to haunt me, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
But this isn't a Darth Silver thesis, actually. This isn't silver's acting more like copper, because actually it isn't. In recent months, it's gone back to acting like gold as a monetary metal should, which is why I actually amended my outlook for 2024. Going into 2024, I was not looking to buy silver stocks. I was looking to buy gold and then watch silver to see what it did in the recession that I still think, is in the cards for the US, and see if silver would track copper more than gold, because it had been doing that. Currently, or as of last week, the correlation between silver and copper prices is higher than between silver and gold. Now, all three of them have done a hockey stick lately, so they're all correlated. But if you've been watching silver and saying it looks a lot more like copper, you're not imagining things. That's actually in the math. That was happening.
Mhm.
But in my view, that has changed. And so, yes, I put silver on my shopping list this year. If anything, a great silver play is so hard to find that I'm putting more effort and energy into trying to find silver picks. Country risk has really become a problem. I don't actually think it's accidental for historical reasons. Where do the conquistadors go? I think there's a historical relationship and a reason why so much of the world's best silver districts are in kleptocratic countries that, really make me nervous about investing there. So, there are great silver projects out there, but I'm very politically risk averse, and that leaves me with very few choices. I was saying I was of two minds. So, the good news for silver bulls and everybody, oh, he's not Darth Silver anymore. He put silver, he's hooray silver. The bad news is that silver moving to 30 now, it doesn't fit the pattern that typically silver has. And B, it seems out of whack with where the market is. There's no particularly compelling reason why that you can see, I think, either as a TA or as a fundamental analyst, why silver should have done that. So that makes me nervous about how long silver could, it would be, people will hate it, but it would be perfectly reasonable for silver to correct back below 30. If it corrects to 28, 29 bucks or something like that, that'd still be a great price for companies that were already making money at lower prices or the better projects out there. But people would hate it, right? Oh, if it's not going up, then it's no good, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah,
silver makes me a little bit nervous in the immediate term because of this vertical move that we've seen. But sorry, on the third paw, and that, whereas gold has hit at least nominally all-time high after all-time high, silver is still well below its previous all-time high. And that's not even adjusting for inflation. That's
yeah,
just a nominal all-time high. So, markets are not always rational. I do not believe in the efficient market hypothesis. It's precisely because markets are so often irrational, they get overbought or oversold. And
exactly.
it's pretty exciting to see something like this silver breakout. It's an energy metal, it's part of the green agenda, it's a monetary metal, it's an inflation hedge, it's all this stuff going for it. Its industrial and monetary aspects could actually propel silver much higher than supply and demand would suggest. And that can happen right away, or it might happen later this year. I don't know. But I'm glad I still have some silver in my portfolio, and I'm actively looking for more.
While remaining unaffected by the prospect of gold reaching $3,000, Lobo Tiggre acknowledges concerns about geopolitical tensions and the potential for higher inflation. He emphasizes gold's ability to challenge central bank narratives and its role as a forward-looking indicator of economic trends. The influx of gold purchases by central banks contributes to heightened demand for the precious metal in the global market. This surge in demand exerts upward pressure on gold prices, driving them to unprecedented levels. Gold's intrinsic value and limited supply make it an attractive asset for preserving purchasing power during economic uncertainty. Regarding the global reserve currency status, Lobo Tiggre notes the dollar's gradual decline, influenced by ongoing fiat currency failures. He stresses the inevitable rise in prices for real goods and commodities in the future, irrespective of currency fluctuations. Let's get back to the interview.
But I do agree with the sentiment you've heard from probably Rick and others. You know, I I think Rick likes to say that the reason why I own gold is because I'm afraid it's going to $10,000. A world in which we have $10,000 gold is a world in which there is some serious shit going down. That's a technical
Exactly.
description of the situation there.
Yeah,
I'm not sure I'd want to see that world. Having my
yeah,
gold go up that much is, yeah, I get the question, but no, 3,000 wouldn't do it. You mentioned things that I'm sure the audience is aware. We don't need to beat that to death. We've got two hot wars, either one of which could become World War III. If there's bad stuff out there,
yeah,
that is a good reason for people to be hedging, their bets here. But you asked about it, gold as a signal. And so there's two ways I look at that. One is I think gold is calling BS on the Fed and the central banks of the world. And yes, the global south is buying gold and so on, but still it's all right. Let me rephrase it. It's calling BS on the Fed and the fiat currencies of the world.
mm,
I think that's indisputable. And the other thing, and this is more speculative, is that gold tends to lead inflation. Like people look at, if you correlate gold and CPI, it's actually a terrible correlation. It's
yeah,
almost non-existent. And the reason for that is because gold leads. So like and we just saw this in 2020, gold goes way up, like massive run. Inflation does nothing, like it's bupkis. It's still basically zero. And then 2021 comes along, 2022, we get this huge surge in inflation, but gold's already up over 2,000 bucks. So it stays
yeah,
there, right? So gold moves, inflation does nothing. Inflation moves, gold does nothing. So there's no correlation. But obviously, the gold did matter and it told us what was coming. Anybody with half a brain could see that all the crazy stuff governments were doing in response to the COVID lockdowns was inflationary. And, markets are forward looking, and that's what gold signaled. So if that's what's happening now, notice the word if, right? If that's what's happening now, gold is signaling higher, significantly higher inflation ahead. And that actually fits with my macro view. Well, like my friend Brent Johnson, the dollar milkshake guy says, it's going to take time to dethrone the dollar. Um, but it is contrary to the de-dollarization deniers out there of the world. The dollar's share of global reserve currency is dropping every year. Like that is a visible multi-decade trend. I think that continues. I was just talking with Lynn Alden about this, and an interesting thing is though that with fiat currencies failing in so many countries, like the Argentinian peso, where Milei wants to go with the dollar instead, or other countries that, if not officially but de facto, their fiat currencies are so dysfunctional that they're essentially dollarized. Um, you could actually see the dollar gain market share as a reserve currency as other fiat currencies implode. And if they implode, they might, some people might buy more gold or buy some more Bitcoin, but the government, are they going to adopt the yuan or the euro? Probably not. They'll you could look at this on the forex, you could look at this on reserves and things like that, and there are question marks about where this goes. But ultimately, the one thing there's no question about is that the purchasing power of the dollar continues to decline dramatically. We have yet to pay the piper for everything that's been done since the COVID-19 lockdowns. And I think that we're going to see, if I'm right about the recession ahead, I think we're going to see the money helicopters fly. And even if nothing big happens, it's just what governments do. They debase their fiat currencies every year. They try to convince the public that inflation is a good thing, and they have inflation targets, which means, hidden tax targets. So that's the one thing there's no question of. Like real things priced in any fiat unit, including the dollar, 10 years from now, we'll be seeing higher prices.
Looking ahead, it's evident that the silver market is poised for further excitement and potential growth. Silver continues to move higher, which aligns with our recent silver price forecast. There is still more upside potential to our long-standing target of $34. Our second target is $50, which may hit in 2024 or 2025. How do you plan to incorporate silver into your investment strategy? And what factors do you consider most crucial when evaluating its potential? Drop your thoughts in the comment section below. If you find this video informative, don't forget to support our channel and turn on notifications to stay informed about our latest videos. See you in the next video.